I have some pretzels and a fun round of hot topics for you. On today's panel, I have attorney Anne Bremner, author Marie Bostwick, and our executive producer, Joseph. Hello, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
We came bearing gifts. I hope you're hungry. I'm obsessed with pretzels. This is like a really exciting day.
Well, if you couldn't tell, Pretzel Day is coming soon.
Yes, so please
here,
dive in. Taste test while I explain.
Okay.
National Pretzel Day is Saturday the 26th. And to celebrate, Wetzel's is offering one free original pretzel per person at participating locations from 3 p.m. to close on Saturday, April 26th. No purchase necessary, and they obviously brought in such a big selection for us to try. I mean, pigs in a blanket, there's pizza sauce, there's jalapeno sauce.
The hot dog fell out.
Take both.
It's okay. What do we think?
I loved when they
Good,
emailed
good.
us. You were like, please bring the pretzels here. I'm like, I'll do my best.
Like when I go to the mall, I'm not even hungry, and I'm like, oh, I need a pretzel, and I need to
know.
walk around and shop, which I'm sure all the stores love with my little
Pretzel.
greasy, salty hands. They're like, thank you, Kelly, please go away. What do you think? You're diving in.
The caramel sauce, caramel dipping sauce, this is a definite winner.
working for you,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, this is working for me. Especially early, I don't want too salty, so this is divine.
Oh, I just went full send with the pizza number there. And what are your thoughts?
I think that I like the hot dog one, actually. What was your quote about hot dogs?
That the best hot dog you ever had wasn't that much better than the worst hot dog
I
you
love
ever
that.
had.
But I love hot dogs, and my cats love hot dogs. They're good.
The cheese sauce.
a staple.
Like just pretzel cheese sauce, I am
It's a
good to go.
classic.
I know.
Yes.
Again, I feel like if I go to any event or anything too, and there's a pretzel, it's like pretzel cheese sauce. Okay, we could clearly keep eating and talking about this all the time,
might.
but our next topic is a new article from the Seattle Times came out. Seattle is experiencing food apartheid, highlighting the latest opening of a new Trader Joe's being in Greenwood rather than South Seattle. Do we think that Seattle has this issue? I live in an area where I feel like there's a lot of like Trader Joe's, different grocery stores, but Joseph, you live closer to where...
So Naomi Ishisaka wrote this, I think is an opinion story, which I was surprised to see that headline in the Seattle Times, and I was like, what is that about? So I clicked on it, and yeah, I used to live in North Seattle, and I moved just south of I-90 like about 4 years ago, and wow, I noticed the difference, and I never had a word for it until I, read this. But yeah, she's saying there's no Trader Joe's in South Seattle. I mean, I have to drive pretty far to get to one. So but it's not just grocery stores. I see it with pharmacies,
Right.
gyms. I mean, it's not just grocery stores.
Yeah, it makes sense. She was writing in this article just how there's a couple Safeways near where she lives, but they're also riddled with gun violence as well. And so just why would Trader Joe's open yet another one in the north side and not South Seattle?
Well, I can't tell you. I live on Queen Anne, so we have everything up there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if I didn't live on Queen Anne, I'd still probably go up there to Trader Joe's.
Drive up there, yeah.
But top of the hill, bottom of the hill, and of course we're in the middle of the city, so.
I know.
I thought the interesting part, though, was she linked it to health outcomes.
Yes.
Really?
Well,
I didn't
yeah,
know. Okay.
it was a really great article. So if you don't have access to healthy food, I mean, there's more incidence of cardiovascular disease and diabetes and everything
Definitely.
else. So it's an important thing for people.
Absolutely.
I know. I was happy to see it in the Seattle Times and just kind of such an opinion piece where it was just written so bluntly that I think maybe people really need to,
Maybe if
educate themselves
If you don't live
on.
in South Seattle, you may just think it's like, oh, it's like the rest of town.
Totally.
It's having all
Exactly.
these, amenities. But yeah, that was an interesting awakening for me to kind of live that. But I love living in South Seattle, so I'm not upset about it. But
No.
I do think we could have some more options.
Definitely. Switching gears to sports. I don't know if you're all a big Kraken fan.
This was surprising to
Just
me.
last week, the Seattle Kraken announced prices will go down for much of the arena next season. And yesterday, they also announced that they just fired their head coach. So lots of changes. The Kraken missed the postseason, earned 76 points this season, tied for the fourth fewest total in the NHL. So, we weren't doing great. There's there's always so much excitement. I live near the stadium too. You always think, I don't know, each year I'm like, come on, could it be our year? But I'm really excited to hear about the fact that the prices are going down to make it more accessible for people. What about you all? Are you going to go to more games in person this season? Anne, are you a sports girly?
No. But I will say, I love, like, in the neighborhood with everyone with their Kraken shirts on,
Yes.
and that whole, spirit now, like, because I'm going through the Mama Queen Anne. It's great.
I know.
It's just that everywhere, and they're coming up the hill, parking up there, and I'm like, it's just that, that kind of spirit and everything for Seattle.
That hustle and
support,
bustle.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's,
What about you, Marie?
I have to say, well, I'm a big baseball fan.
Okay.
So I have, Rainiers. I
like the Rainiers.
I love the
their game.
Rainiers, and
Yeah.
part of the reason I love the Rainiers is it's a great, affordable team with
Yes.
I mean, I can
It's
go.
so fun.
And I have to say, I have 6 grandchildren. So when
Family
I go to
outing.
sports, bringing the grandkids is the thing. So having a lower ticket price is very attractive
Yes.
to maybe make me consider doing that in the
Right.
future.
They really put on such a show too. Like I had never been to an NHL game before the Kraken came
Same.
here.
Same.
And I was amazed at the show that they put on.
good.
Not really even knowing a lot
Right.
about hockey. You just
Right.
really get into
lot of
it and all the
theatrics with
buzz.
it.
Absolutely. But it is kind of crappy that we haven't done amazing year after
Well,
year.
they're a new
But
team. Give them
I
time.
know.
Right.
Give them
I
time.
know. Give them time.
And I
It's
just
like, come on.
and King 5 is partners with the Kraken.
Yes.
And I think they've just been a great organization to work with. We did our
Absolutely.
whole show at the Kraken Community Iceplex.
I know
last
we
month.
did women in hockey.
That
That was
was
so fun.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
I think they're fun.
I know, they are. Many around the world are mourning the death of Pope Francis, who died on Easter Monday. That just feels like, I don't even know.
Full circle.
His death sets in motion a series of rites and rituals, which seems to have many Catholics and non-Catholics alike interested. What do we think about this? Obviously just so sad to hear this news
Yes.
earlier this week about Pope Francis.
Yeah, he was so well loved. And I read where I was just telling you that my mom had me help take the flag to mass staff, or half mast,
Yeah.
yesterday
Yeah.
at their place. And I think the fact that he wants to be viewed in a wooden box and not elevated is so in keeping with the people's pope. I mean,
Very
somebody
humble.
he's very humble, and he's just been wonderful. But I'm glad he made it to Easter. That was amazing.
I am too. Yeah.
And it's just a very compassionate person. I
Exactly,
think Catholic,
yeah.
non-Catholic, you had that said. I love that he was somebody who could admit when he was wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's really special. Yeah.
Especially in today's day and age, you don't always
Right?
see that with such a big public figure to do that.
Yeah. So I think that was neat. And I think people are interested because Conclave.
Yes,
People
that
watched the
movie.
movie, and so you became very fascinated by the whole mystery of now what happens. Because there's a lot of fascinating ritual that I didn't
definitely.
know about.
I know.
I went to Catholic school my entire life. So when I was in high school and Pope John Paul II passed, I feel like we spent class time just like watching the whole process. And ever since then, I've just been very curious about all of it. And it will be interesting to see who they select as the next Pope. I know a lot of people, Catholics, non-Catholics alike, are all paying attention. So
No, definitely.
There's an American in there somewhere.
that would be incredible.
Right? Wow.
But I don't know if that's
That'd be
gonna,
great.
but we'll see.
Hey, you never know. Also, you guys, summer is about to be here with the weather getting warmer. I'm so excited for concert season. Are there any concerts that you guys are looking forward to? I'm thinking Morgan Wallen and Lumen Field. Like, concerts are always
Whoa.
so expensive.
That's a big
So
venue.
there's parts of me that are like, no, I'm just going to sit at home. But I am really excited about Morgan Wallen, July, Lumen Field, near my birthday.
Oh.
So
There you
that
go.
could be a fun girly night. And then Chateau Ste. Michelle, like an intimate concert
love
when
it
it's
there.
warm with a
Yes.
little wine.
Outside.
I've seen
Sounds
John
nice.
Legend there a few times. Love. Is there anyone that you would really want to see, Marie? Or are you like, forget it?
Well, I'm more of a Shakespeare in the Park girl, but
Concert of a sort.
that's a okay. So I do that. I'm about to go on a book tour. If I wasn't, I would be all over James Taylor at the end of May.
I
love
Oh,
He's
okay.
great. I've seen him several times in several cities. So.
Amazing. Anne, what about you? Do you have any?
Jackson Brown, saw him in junior high. Ever since.
Love it.
Yeah, I actually married John Henry Brown because I thought he was related.
Shout out to you, John.
Well, as you can see with my
judging from your shirt, we have a fan.
Kylie Minogue is probably my favorite musical artist. I've loved her since like 2000, and she's coming to Seattle, I think probably for the first time on Friday at Climate Pledge, where the
This Friday?
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so obviously I'm going, and I love her. She's just been such a good artist for decades, and I'm so excited. So
great.
It's kind of kicking off my summer concert season.
Wait, I love your excitement. I feel like I get excited where I'm like, maybe I like Kylie Minogue. Maybe I need to go.
Well, I can tell you, if you want like 2 hours of just feeling happy, good pop music, then you should go.
Okay, well, the Game Time app, not sponsored. It's good to go on to see deals, last minute deals, and who knows, maybe you'll see me there. We are starting with a Costco topic. The iconic muffins that you see in front of us. I got the blueberry flavor because they no longer have the variety pack, and they don't have the chocolate flavor, which was my absolute favorite. I don't know why they would ever remove that, but that's okay.
So when you told me this news, I basically went to Costco the next day to verify if that was true or not.
You gotta verify.
And when I got there, I took a picture of the section, and I was shocked. They took all the chocolate away. I was like, there's no way. That's gotta be one of their most popular things. And look, no chocolate.
No,
and they're so much smaller, which I know we were talking about the calories earlier. Like one of these was like over 1,000 calories back in the day. So now they're smaller, which I don't know. I guess that's fine. I'll live with that. But where are the chocolate ones? Like, please, can they come back?
I used to work at Costco in college. Bagels, muffins. We would, so many that would come through the check stand. And so I'm just surprised that they'd want to get rid of such a
I know,
staple.
Top seller.
Yeah.
You guys, are you Costco girlies? Do we like Costco? Do we steer clear?
I'm supporting Jeff Bezos' wedding and space travel with Amazon, anything, Uber Eats. So I haven't been to Costco in a long time, but from our conversation, I think I should go back.
Maybe time to
The
check it out.
chicken, the hot dogs.
Oh, yeah.
I
But not
know.
these.
No. Okay.
I do go to Costco. I like Costco. I think it's a mistake why would anyone ever get rid of anything chocolate? I don't understand.
Right.
But
Thank
I will
you.
say, if they ever get rid of the $1.50 hot dogs, there will be pitches.
They'll never do
It'll be
it.
a riot.
They keep saying, the CEO is always like, we would never do that.
Better not.
They better
Keep
not.
your promises, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially on that one.
Oh, yeah.
I've eaten so many Costco hot dogs.
Me
Oh my
too.
gosh, wow.
I had one yesterday full confession, when I went to get this. I was like, oh, I'm here. Anyways, moving on. Today is Earth Day, and earlier in the show we were talking about a large tree that's coming down in Green Lake that has made a lot of community members unhappy. What do we think Earth Day signifies in Seattle in 2025 and beyond?
I think it's very important that we're still thinking about the environment. So any way we can mark an event to celebrate nature, I think that's really important. Arbor Day, Earth Day, all of it.
I think it's very, I'm not as tuned in, but when I was a kid, it was a big, big deal. And I don't know if it's as big a deal now as it was then. There were parades and protests and all kinds of things. And there was a lot done toward children. So I hope that's still happening. I don't have school-age kids anymore. But I hope it's an opportunity to talk about trees and the environment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We would live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. I think the most beautiful place in the United States.
Yep.
And so all the trees we have, when you come in on an airplane, you smell the air. It's so fresh, right?
Yes.
Always. There's no place like it. And
Seattle.
all of the trees, and it
looks like a painting. We live here. It's so great.
The Emerald City, but I think we do a lot up here for what I think the concept of Earth Day is. For sure.
Yep.
Definitely. Recycle, take care of, your
Yes,
planet,
love Mother
everyone.
Earth.
Right.
And I know, when you said that about flying in, anytime I go anywhere else, I feel like as soon as I see the evergreen trees and I step out of the airport, I'm like, oh, yes, fresh air.
Seattle, thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
right. Thank you, Seattle.
Mountains, water, we have it all,
we have
which
it
is
all.
really special. Marie, I want to get to, you're the author of a new novel, The Book Club for Troublesome women. So what do book clubs mean to you? And tell me about the book.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll tell you quickly about the book. So it's set in 1963. It's about 4 quietly unhappy housewives who live in a suburb of Northern Virginia, not too far from Washington, D.C. They form a book club, and the first of many books they read is The Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan, and it changes everything.
Wow.
So,
Spicy.
It's
Spicy.
I'm very excited about this book, and I think it has a lot to say. But book clubs are hugely important, and I think they're more popular than ever. And somebody was asking me, like, why are they important? Well, first of all, I think books are important. I think books do change lives, right? But especially in this day and age, I think it's important for us to have opportunities to listen to other viewpoints. And I think book clubs can be a really good sort of practice ground for trying to think through why we believe a certain thing and have
Critical
an opinion
thinking.
and present that to other people, as well as listening to opinions that might be different than our own. Because the most boring book club ever is the one where everybody loves the book. Right?
So true.
Say less, Marie.
I know.
Right? It's like, if everybody
hated
just
it,
loves
right?
the books, it's like, okay, well, let's drink wine now.
Exactly.
Right.
We have a book club that we started here on the show when I started in this position, and I love, reading has always been so big and something that I've enjoyed, and it gives you the opportunity to have women, friends, anyone kind of meet with busy schedules and get to talk about something.
We love authors
so,
here.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to be here in the place where I love.
Excited to read it.
I know,
I got
and we
your
want to
copy.
get to you
Thank
too
you,
on a few trending legal topics
few,
because we
there's a
have
few.
you.
Right.
Starting with the Menendez brothers, what's trending here?
Oh, it's always trending. That show on Netflix, but that got everything going. But the last hearing, the new prosecutor, his name's Nathan Hobach, said, I don't like what the last prosecutor promised in pleadings, that he was going to recommend resentencing and they would be out, etc. So he came in before the judge, this new prosecutor, very conservative law and order guy, and he says, you know what, I want to withdraw what the last guy did, and I want to put my new one in. And by the way, he fired people in his office that agreed with the old prosecutor. And the judge is like, you know what, no, but we'll just go ahead for the sentencing hearing. So, resentencing. And there's really 3 things: a habeas petition, and then this resentencing petition that's still alive from the old prosecutor, and then finally clemency from the governor. And the governor's asked for a risk assessment from the parole board, so it shows he's taking it seriously. So we'll see what happens. They've been in there for decades, and they could be released almost immediately on a resentence, because parole for youthful offenders, they were under the age of 26, so they would be early parole.
Wow.
So it's kind of amazing. And I told you, I've talked to Eric before.
I know, that's what I love. It's so cool that you've talked to them.
Yeah, and he was extremely impressive. But on the other hand, he was able to kill his parents. So there's people on both sides are equally adamant that they should either stay in forever and should have gotten the death penalty. They were up for the death penalty, but they didn't get it from a jury.
Right.
Or that they should get out because they've served their time. They were abused by the parents, and they had no choice but to commit this act. So we'll see. I think they may be getting out.
Okay, and Idaho, I want to get to the Idaho murders. This is just really taken over. I mean, people are so obsessed with this case.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me about the Brian
Look at
here.
those eyes.
I know.
It's just, you shouldn't have me look at it, but so he's not doing very well in the motions. I mean, his lawyers have done a great job of filing many, many motions, including that there couldn't be testimony about one of the witnesses seeing bushy eyebrows. Trying to get the death penalty off the table because he has autism. And they're also saying that it's that shouldn't be death for other reasons. So that hasn't really been ruled on yet. But the fact is, and by the way, Lori Daybell, the cult mom, remember her? Death was taken off the table in her case in Idaho because the prosecutors had not complied with discovery requirements. They're trying that in Koberger. That's about their best chance, I think, to try and get it off the table. But he's lost all the motions on DNA, on the search warrants.
Gosh.
I mean, every once in a while he gets a little bit of a bone that's thrown at him from the judge, but not really. Now, he can't talk about autism in the trial, and they want to say, the defense, he acts weird, he looks weird, because he's autistic. And that's why he looks like he's not reacting, he's not emotive, And the judge said, no, that's for the penalty phase too. So, jury selection in July. trial in August, and there are a lot of people from here in the media that are there right now.
Oh, yeah. For
You know
sure.
that, yeah.
Yes,
It's
of
a big
course,
case.
yeah.
Wow.
And a horrible case.
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much, y'all, for being here. So
Thank you.
fascinating.
Thank you.
Thank you for those updates. And thank you to you all for spending time with us today. You can check our website for more of our content, and you can always send us an email to share your thoughts. Don't forget to enjoy your new day, and we'll see you next time.